Hi everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. I recently passed the International Sports Sciences Association, or ISSA for short, Certified Specialist in Strength and Conditioning exam. I took this course because, aside from being an athlete myself, I also work with athletes to help them achieve their performance goals. I was looking for a certification that offered everything I needed to build strength, agility, and conditioning training programs for the athletes that I work with to help them reach their peak performance levels. And basically, I'm always looking to improve. Continuing education and professional development is a priority for me. I enrolled in this program to learn how I can improve my training programs to better work with high-performing athletes and produce results-driven programs that help them meet or exceed their expectations. I should note that I'm a member of the National Strength and Conditioning Association and participate in the NSCA's Figure Skating Special Interest Group. I also have a bachelor's degree, so I do plan to get certified by NSCA as a certified strength and conditioning coach. However, because my bachelor's degree is not in an exercise-related field, which is not required by the NSCA, by the way, at least not until 2030, so I do have a little bit of time. Anyway, I wanted to start with a less intense course and work my way up to the NSCA CSSC. Also, while I'm an ISSA certified elite trainer, because I'm an ISSA certified personal trainer, nutrition coach, and youth fitness specialist, I would like to achieve the ISSA Master Trainer designation. After taking this strength and conditioning course, I only have 2 more ISSA courses to take to reach the ISSA Certified Master Trainer status. To complete the Master Trainer designation, I currently plan on taking the ISSA Recovery and Exercise Therapy courses. Once I finish the 8th Health Coach course and NASM Corrective Exercise course that I'm currently working on. And I do post reviews of every course that I take. So if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so that you never miss a video. The ISSA Specialist in Strength and Conditioning is a relatively new certification from ISSA. The course includes how to apply principles of metabolism, body mechanics, and anatomy to help athletes of any level reach their optimal performance. It helps you understand anatomy and body mechanics and how structure influences energy and performance levels. You also learn how to communicate exercise instruction and benefits to the athletes that you work with. The course gives you the tools to develop personalized fitness programs intended to increase endurance, strength, power, and speed. You'll also learn how to apply basic principles of nutrition and supplementation as they relate to each individual athlete. But side note here, if you're really interested in nutrition, I highly recommend the Precision Nutrition course, the PN1 course. I took that. I have some links below on reviews I did on the ISSA Nutrition course, as well as the Precision Nutrition course. And you can buy both of those courses from ISSA, and I have links to that in the description down below as well. You'll also learn how to identify the strains of overtraining and how to prevent injuries. You'll learn how to correctly perform fitness tests and how to monitor an athlete's progress and growth. You'll learn the basic fundamentals of sports psychology and how to mentally prepare athletes to overcome hurdles and achieve their highest ability. While this course is less intense than the NSCA CSSC, the course definitely delivers. Like many other certifications, this course is entirely online. And like other ISSA certifications, the Strength and Conditioning course is accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Commission, or DEAC. However, suppose you want to get the National Council for Certified Personal Trainers, NCCPT, Strength Training Specialist Certification, or CSTS. In that case, you can actually do that with this course too. According to the ISSA website, it's included for free, but the accredited exam won't appear on your cart when you place your order. It'll be available with your online materials after you purchase your course. Now, I don't really have any reason to take that additional exam because I'm an experienced coach and have been self-employed for years. But if you're a new coach and looking to interview for jobs, you may want to take that additional exam because it can open more doors for you. Why is that? Well, the NCCPT CSTS certification program is accredited by the National Commission for Certifying Agencies, or NCCA. You've probably heard of that. This accreditation demonstrates compliance with NCCA guidelines for demonstrating compliance with the NCCA standards for the accreditation of certification programs. When I first purchased this course, I was challenged because it didn't come with a textbook or even a workbook. And I really love to have printed texts and workbooks that I can fill in. But they did eventually, as I was finishing up the course, finally offer a printed textbook. However, I had to pay extra for it, and it was $80 plus shipping on top of the course price. And the current course price, regular price, is $7.99 as of the date I'm recording this. But they do offer monthly installment options without any credit check in case you're worried about that, and discounted pricing on the course from time to time. I have a direct link in the description down below to all of ISSA's special offers and discounts. So if you're interested in finding out what they are at this time, you can go in the description, click through that link, and see all the special deals they have going on right now. You can also purchase an elite training bundle where you get your personal trainer certification, nutritionist coach course, and you can select the strength and conditioning course as your specialization. The elite trainer package offers a significant discount over purchasing those 3 individual courses on their own. I did this when I signed up with ISSA. The specialization that I chose at the time was the youth fitness course. I have a review on that course as well. There's a link to it in the description down below. I also have reviews on the personal trainer certification course and the ISSA nutrition course, as well as the precision nutrition course. Those are in the description down below too. So I purchased this course, the strength and conditioning course, separately. Similarly, you can actually purchase a master trainer bundle that includes everything in the elite trainer package, but you'll be able to choose 4 specializations instead of just 1. So the master trainer package is an even better deal than the elite trainer package, provided of course you have the money to pay for it up front, or you're ready to enter into a higher monthly payment installment agreement. But if you can, it is worth it for the discounted price. I have a link in the description down below where you can save as much as $100 off ISSA courses, packages, or bundles. If you're interested in taking any ISSA courses, go down in the description and click through that link to save money on your registration. Enough about pricing. Let's get back to the course. Like I said, there wasn't an interactive workbook that you can fill in blanks or answer questions. And I love workbooks. This for me was a little disappointing. They do, however, provide a fast-track study guide as a PDF. This study guide was 83 pages, and honestly, because it was a PDF, I personally didn't use it. I actually forgot it even existed. I think if it had been a printed book, I would have used it. But because it was a PDF and it wasn't sitting on the table next to me as a book, I just forgot all about it. And unfortunately, as of the date of recording this, the Fast Track Study Guide still isn't available as a printed book, not even to purchase separately. But it does contain helpful information. And this is because it provides a breakdown of what will appear on the final exam. According to the Fast Track Study Guide, the final exam contains questions on health assessments. They say that's 14%, emergency procedures, 9%, kinesiology, 10%, exercise physiology, 10%, nutrition, 9%, exercise application, 20%, program design, 20%, and ethics and business procedures, 8%. According to these percentages, it's best to focus on exercise application and program design because that's 40% of the final exam. Next, focus on health assessments, kinesiology, and exercise physiology because together that's another 29% of the final exam. Then nutrition or emergency procedures make up the remainder of the exam at 26%. But if you're paying close attention to these figures, these numbers only add up to 95%. So I'm unsure what they're attributing the remaining 5% to. Regardless, I would recommend that you actually print out the Fast Track Study Guide, put it in a binder, and keep it on your table or your desk with your other study materials, if you're like me, so that you don't forget the Fast Track Study Guide actually exists. But like I said, I still prefer a workbook where I'm prompted to answer questions. So I just use the online guided study to stay on track with my learning. Reading through the textbook, and this is a heavy book. So this is 583 pages, this textbook. reading through the textbook, either the PDF or the printed version, and watching the lecture videos and taking the quizzes. Something this course was missing was that ISSA did not include any final exam prep in the online guided study. Now, if you've never taken an ISSA course before, this is probably not going to bother you. But if you have taken other ISSA courses, you may be familiar with the final exam prep being included in the guided study. And it's super helpful to have the final exam prep in the guided study because it prompts you to write your essays that have to be submitted with your final exam as you're working through the coursework. And that way you know ahead of time, before you start the exam, what the essay topics are. You'll have them ready to submit when you take your final exam. In my opinion, ISSA should really include the final exam prep with the guided study for this course. I actually took the rest of the exam and then sat on it for a while. And by a while, I mean literally months, 9 months to be exact. Then I went back and did the essay. And you can actually do that because the ISSA exam is not timed. So I went back to finish up the final exam. At that point, the textbook was available for purchase. Of course, after I finished the multiple choice, but I totally do recommend that you get the textbook, especially for the essays. I don't know about you, but it's so much easier to reference an actual book when you're working on your computer, rather than having to switch back and forth from a PDF to a Word doc. But had I been prompted to write the essays as I went through the guided study, I would have done them much sooner and been prepared with the essays and submitted my exam much sooner. Now, before you can take the exam, you have to pass all the online quizzes. Once you've passed them all, your final ISSA exam is unlocked. This is how all ISSA courses that I've taken worked anyway. At the time I took the exam, it consisted of a multiple choice section with 100 questions. And I took my time to answer them and looked up anything in the book that I was unsure of. Before I submitted my exam, I actually went back over every question and double checked them too. This is the same method that I use with a certified personal trainer, nutrition, and youth fitness course. And it works really well because I received 95 of the possible 100 points on the multiple choice section of the exam. When they sent me my results, they said that I did a terrific job on this section of the examination, and that it was apparent by the work that I have a solid and functional understanding of the course materials. Next was the essay section, which at the time I took the exam consisted of 5 essay questions. One was on the strength shortening cycle. Another was on assessing explosive strength. Another was on the energy pathways, which there was also an essay on this with the certified personal trainer exam at the time that I took it. There was an essay question on self-myofascial release. As a side note, you will find final exam videos from several years ago if you search YouTube for ISSA strength and conditioning, which you most likely are if you found this video and are watching it now. So it appears that at least at one point in time, you had to submit a video of a training program with your final exam. But when I took the course, which I registered for in June or July of 2020, and submitted my final exam in April of 2021, you were not required to submit any video. In fact, it wasn't even an option. I was actually surprised that there wasn't even a case study, either in the form of a video or written, because I had to do written case studies for the certified personal trainer and youth fitness coach courses and submit them as part of my final exam. Anyway, I felt that my essays for the certified strength and conditioning course were a little bit lighter than they should have been, particularly the strength shortening cycle and explosive strength. But I always feel that essays have to be really intense and long and detailed. That said, I did get very detailed, but managed to be concise. I used the textbook as my first reference, and when I felt I needed more resources, I referenced other articles and studies online, mainly from the NSCA. I've been asked in the comments of my other videos with reviews of these courses to post my essays, and I can't do that because it's against ISSA's rules. You need to write your own essays, and disclosing what I actually wrote would be cheating. But if you subscribe to my channel, you will find many helpful videos. Some of them I created based on the essays that I wrote and learned from the ISSA and other courses that I've taken. So you can always use my videos as an additional resource when writing your own essays for the ISSA exams. In my experience of taking 4 ISSA courses, they really do like to see additional research beyond just the textbook in your essays. Just be sure whatever you use, is if it's my videos or an article, that you reference that because ISSA does have a really strict plagiarism policy, and they check to make sure you didn't use someone else's work as your own. Go ahead and tap the red subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss one of my videos, and you're always notified so that you can use them as reference when you take your ISSA exams. On the essay section of the exam, I received 98 points out of the possible 100 points. And the feedback that ISSA provided me with said that, as with the previous section, I did a great job on the essay section of the exam. They said that it was evident in my essay responses that I have sound and practical understanding of the course materials. And based on my responses, they said that they have complete confidence in my ability to use the information provided in the course appropriately and effectively with clients and the public going forward. They said that they feel fortunate to have a professional of my caliber representing ISSA as a certified strength and conditioning specialist. Overall, I received 193 out of the possible 200 points. So my final grade was 97%, which is pretty good. If you're like me though, you might also be wondering what the difference is between this course, the ISSA Strength and Conditioning course, and the ISSA Performance Enhancement course. And I did ask ISSA about what the difference is. Their response with regard to my question: the strength and conditioning course generally speaks more toward actual specific sports and describes information and training recommendations based upon those sports. The performance enhancement course speaks more directly to the movements involved in becoming generally stronger, faster, more agile, and improving and enhancing general performance. Ultimately, both courses have some carryover, but offer their own distinct features as well. I don't know about you, but that doesn't totally answer my question. I actually purchased the Sports Performance Enhancement course textbook too, so I could take a look at it. I purchased it when I purchased this other textbook. And honestly, looking at both of these textbooks, I don't see a huge difference between the two courses. If you're more interested in learning about specific sports and their training recommendations, take the Strength and Conditioning course. But if you're more interested in more general information about the movements involved in becoming generally stronger, faster, and more agile, along with general performance enhancement, you may benefit more from the performance enhancement course. As for me, I just started working on my ACE Health Coach course, and I'll post a review of that course for you, as well as the NASM Corrective Exercise course and any other courses I take after I complete them. That way, if you're thinking about taking any course, you'll know what to expect. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so that you never miss a video. I hope this video helps you to better understand the ISSA Strength and Conditioning course and what's expected on the exam. I highly recommend anyone that's training athletes or wanting to work with athletes take this course, as it's valuable in helping them to meet their performance goals. If you've taken this course or have additional questions, leave me comments down below and let me know your thoughts. And remember, there's a link in the description where you can save up to $100 off your ISSA course purchase. Use that link to save money when you register for your next ISSA course. If you like this video, please give it a like and share it with somebody else that it could help. And just post it to your social media too. This is Amy. Thank you for watching. I will see you real soon. Bye.